Welcome to Wealthy Women's Conversation Podcast, where we celebrate the incredible journeys of everyday amazing women who are building their own path to wealth and financial security on their own terms. I am your host, Treshelle Williams, and I am so thrilled to have you join us today. Here on Wealthy Women Conversations Podcast, we are all about breaking the mold and rewriting the rules when it comes to creating wealth. Are you an amazing woman that's 40 years old or older who's looking to build financial freedom? Then this is a podcast for you. Our goal each week is to be a beacon of hope and inspiration, no matter your age or money experience level. On this podcast, you will hear from amazing women who have overcome obstacles, defied societal expectations, and created their own version of wealth, success, strength, and resilience. Now, get ready for a heartwarming, relatable, fun, and empowering conversation that will leave you feeling motivated to take action. Together, we'll shatter limitations, challenge conventional thinking, and redefine what it means to be a wealthy woman in today's world. So, let's tune in to today's conversation. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. I am so excited to be able to jump back in and do some teaching. I have been absolutely enjoying everything about interviewing amazing women who are building their wealthy lives and them sharing all of the yummy and goodies that they are providing, not only for their business communities, but for their families and for themselves. And so today I get another opportunity to share with you all just some things to consider. So for those of you who don't know me or have not rocked with me for any given amount of time, you will learn that there's a few different things, quirks about me, things that are different, things that are just Treshelle, right? And you'll hear me say certain things that are not necessarily the norm, right? And I'm okay with that. I am not only growing my wealthy life personally, but I am also growing me, loving all of me, all parts of me, and all the things that make up who I am. And a part of that is using words like yummy. You will hear me say yummy all the freaking time. Or you'll hear me say good, because one good is never enough. It's always double the yummy and good that we need, right? So in this space, I get a chance to just chat with you all and give you some things to consider. And why I say consider is because what my mentor has taught me over the years, and I just so miss him, rest in peace. But I learned from him that many of us, we find ourselves in certain circumstances and situations where we don't grow and we don't learn because we either reject or accept something immediately, right? You'll hear something and you're like, that sounds like something I'm used to. That's something I know. That's something my mama said, right? Or my cousin and my auntie them said, right? So whoever said it, right? You're used to it. And so you accept it immediately. And it's not even that it is a right thing. It's just that the fact that you are familiar with it. And because you are familiar with it, you decide to roll with it. And I get it. I understand. We all have our own things, right? But it doesn't always lend to us growing at the capacity that we desire to grow. And so what my mentor has taught is that instead of accepting something immediately, instead of denying something immediate, that ain't what they told me. That's not where I did it. That ain't how I had it. We deny it immediately because it's not familiar. Instead of either one of those things, what we can typically do is do the middle and just consider. And when I learned that a few years ago, I literally spent an entire year not making choices immediately, literally considering things for not only days sometimes, but sometimes weeks, just to allow myself to receive answers. See, here's the thing about it. We will know something from the space of familiarity, not necessarily that it is the right thing. It could just be that it's a thing that is familiar, and it doesn't necessarily mean it is right. And so because it's familiar, we will agree with it, but that agreement puts us in a position that doesn't produce the results that we desire to have. And that's the unfortunate part, right? One of the things I woke up with a couple days ago, for those of you who have enrolled with me for a while, I spent some years in massive anxiety. I would wake up every morning. It was so great. And it was the pressure of the anxiety was so heavy on me that I would wake up in the morning. I started putting scriptures on my wall, right on my side of the bed. And if in that season, if you would have seen my bedroom in that season, you would have saw my wall filled with the first thing I wanted to see was scriptures, because I needed something to help me out of the massive anxiety attacks that I would have every single mornings. And what was so unfortunate about it was that those anxiety attacks, would cause me to not want to go to bed at night. So I was not necessarily getting all the sleep that I wanted to get. Not because I didn't want to get the sleep. It wasn't because I didn't want it. It was because I was so afraid to wake up in the mornings because the anxiety was so great. It was just so much. And so many things happened to get me out of the space of anxiety, and that was years ago. And every once in a while, if I be real honest and transparent with y'all, I have moments. It's just not as severe as that was during those times. And I have grown in awareness enough to now understand what to do when I feel fear and anxiety show up, and especially in a massive amount. But I'm saying all of that to say, the other day I woke up, and this is all about considering, y'all. I promise you, it's all connected to considering. I bird walk. I don't know if y'all ever heard of bird walking. It just splinters off into all these conversations. That's another thing about me. But I promise you, I always land the plane. I promise I always land the plane. But I woke up the other morning, and I was talking and praying and meditating and asking God, what can I do when I have these moments of fear and anxiety that resurface? And immediately it was as if, I was reading a book and God was basically like, it's your belief system. And I deal with belief system all the time. For those of you who don't know, Bob Proctor had before he passed, not so much today, but before he passed, for years, I was under Bob Proctor's tutelage. And for 7 years, I would say 7-8 years. And I learned that my mindset definitely has a lot to do with what it is that my reality is, the existence of my current reality. And I'm gonna be honest. Let me just be truthful and honest and tell the whole truth. It took me, the reason why I was involved so deeply with Bob was because I just didn't get it. Like it was so much pre-wiring and pre-thoughts and the thoughts of what I have been indoctrinated into as an African-American woman, as a first generation college student, as a young woman who wanted to be financially successful. All of these things, there were so many stories internally that was happening for me that I didn't even realize that they were there. And so now that I am showing up into these spaces where I am, it's new for me. I don't know how to do it. It was hard. It was difficult. It was challenging for me to figure out, how am I going to say that? How to allow what was being taught to be a part of me. It wasn't that I didn't understand the words. They were using regular English words, but it was not resonating. It was not landing. The plane was not landing. And the reason why I say it wasn't landing is because I felt like I was struggling to really grasp, like it just seemed like it was ABC, but that ABC wasn't producing the results. And so I was like, clearly I'm missing the mark, right? And it wasn't that I was missing a mark. It was that I was breaking up the fallow ground. I was breaking up the decades of teaching that had I've been instituted with. And it took a long time. It was taking a lot of energy and a lot of consistent go after it. I remember one program, I found a woman who was talking about being able to get to the financial space of your life. And I remember buying her program, and the results that she was getting from so many people were just phenomenal. I'm sitting in these classes and I'm listening to these people, and I'm like, ain't none of this stuff happening for me. Like, where am I missing it? Right. And it was just over my head. And I went through, I think her program was a 12-week program, and we were able to keep the program. And I went through that program for years and years and years and years. I promise you, it took me probably about 5 or 6 years where I realized, oh, that's what that means. Like, I just kept being in it. It was so much. My head was spinning. It was just a lot of stuff. And so in that, I just stayed committed to it. Actually, now that I think about it, I probably need to pull her up again and listen and see how different I'm able to receive what she has to say today, because I'm in a whole different space. I'm in a very different place that allows for me to be able to receive things from a different space. And now I have a little bit of a web on my feet to be able to grasp some of the concepts and the content a little bit better. And so all of those things definitely influence you, right? And it goes back to, I'm landing the plane. I promise I'm landing the plane. Going back to the space of me waking up saying, tell yourself when those moments are happening, tell yourself, this is what God was saying to me. Tell yourself, that's not true. Just that simple. That's not true. And I was just like, huh? What you mean? Like challenge everything that you were saying to yourself, because we talk to ourselves internally. Y'all know how y'all talk to yourself. Y'all done had a whole conversation. I'll get it by the time I get home. I'll be able to do this, and this. It's all happening in your head, right? You ain't opened your mouth. You ain't made a sound. And then when I get over here, I'm going to put this together and I'm going to put that over there. And then when I go over here, I'm going to just make this happen and put this, and all that, right? All of those conversations in your head, when they are negative and they are not self-serving and they're not life-serving, and they're not financially serving, and they're not business serving, and they're not family serving, and they're not serving just to who you are, say it's not true. Let's see how that works. And that just put me on the whole space. So I just considered that the entire day. A couple of days ago, I just considered it. And I was like, well, what does that mean? And what would that look like? And am I challenging everything? And just all of the things. But I considered, and I've been considering, and I've been considering, and been considering. I woke up and I thought, this is going to be the day I'm going to start implementing. I'm going to just say that's not true. When something is attacking my thoughts, when something is seemingly harmful, when something that I am considering can go down a bad, that's not true. I'm just going to say that's not true. And so the point of me bringing all of that up is to bring up the point of consider a thing, right? Many times we don't consider the thing that we are saying either yes or no to. We can step into the middle, into the center of the aisle, and just consider the thing. And so today I said all of that to say to y'all, you should consider what you are saying yes to intentionally. And I don't know if you can do that unintentionally, but definitely intentionally, right? I want you to consider what is your yes. It doesn't matter that you've been doing it for forever. And here's where I'm going with this, right? Where I'm going with this is that even the things that are good for us. And I thought about it. I'm in a process of, and I have been considering for probably all year this year. So it's about 6 months into this year. I've been considering, one of the things that I wanted to pick up as a hobby is baking bread. And I was like, I want to bake bread. In my life, in my wealthy self, my wealthy life, gives me the ability to wake up in the morning and go have all the amazing, beautiful things that allow you to bake awesome and amazing, yummy bread that don't have all of the preservatives and all of the things in it. And then your house can smell all yummy. And then we could do baking bread and baking zucchini bread and banana bread, just all the things, right? But I just want to start off with some regular old bread. And I've been considering, and I finally made the decision that I'm going to go ahead and start baking bread. And that just gave me the ability to just decide, okay, let's start with buying all the items and the things that you'll need for it. And let's hope for the best, because you can been considering it for a while and then you finally do it and realize you don't like that. But what's my point? My point of bringing that up was that I was saying to myself that I really enjoy doing this thing, and whatever the thing was, it could have been me breaking bread, or it could have been me watching Hallmark. And if you know me, you know I love some Hallmark. And whatever it is, and then I said after that, that's not true, and it put me in a whole tailspin. Because then I was like, well, what if it's not true? If it's not true, then what, right? Like, if it's not true, hold up. Right? Like, wait a minute, right? And so I started to do that. And considering things give you the possibility to look at it from a different perspective, to look at it from something else. And I'm going to give you a really hard one. Just considering, right? And using this as a technique, right? I have a girlfriend that behavior has started to feel a little different. Okay. It just feels a little different. I don't know if it's different or not, but it was one of the very first things in this process of me considering, using the "that's not true" statement. I was able to use that to just recalibrate. You guys know what a recalibration is, right? It takes it back to its normal state or its beginning state. And so I had an engagement or encounter with this girlfriend, and she and I were talking and stuff. And I immediately I could feel that there was something different. And in that space, I said to myself, that's not true. It's not different. That's not true. Which literally released the pressure of me now attempting to, me now attempting to check all of her words. And did she say it differently last time? Or me now monitoring whether or not what's different, what's the same, what's all of the things, right? And so immediately, I'm not saying not listen to your intuition. I'm not saying that. I am saying in the spaces of what we believe to be true, it may not always be true. And it's because of the habits that we have, because of the familiarity that we have, those things can lead us into spaces that will make us think that it is true, right? And so, my girlfriend and I have been girlfriends for probably one of the longest relationships I've had. And she could be having her own moment, but I can now make it about me because I am now triggered by either things I've heard people say or the social media feeds that I normally have. All of that stuff, right, shows up. And because it shows up, now I am choosing to respond based on some familiar stuff. And it doesn't necessarily need to be that way. Now, I'm landing this plane. The whole point of me bringing all of those things up is to bring into the thought of, how do you see yourself with money? What familiar things are you saying to yourself? What familiar things are you putting out there? What familiar things are happening when money is coming to play that is keeping you in the same space? And instead of you agreeing or disagreeing, it might be a good idea for you to just consider, right? And let me give you some money examples. your girlfriends say, my girlfriends and I, we went on a vacation and we said next year we're going to do a out of the country vacation. And depending on what your financial mindset would be, will determine how you respond to that. Some of us who have financial abundance mindsets, we will say, sounds like a plan, let's go. But if you haven't yet got to the place where you are financially abundant in your thinking, and that all things will work towards your good financially, because you've experienced things not working towards your good financially, you can find yourself saying, oh, I don't think I'm gonna be able to go. And you may not be saying it with your mouth, but you could be saying it with your heart. And so those heart conversations absolutely matter, right? They do matter. And so instead of immediately saying, ooh, y'all going to Switzerland? I want to go to Switzerland for 14 days. I want to be able to be on X, Y, and Z and do all of the things as well, right? And instead, you are saying to yourself, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay for that. I don't know if I'll be able to go. That's going to be difficult. But you start having this conversation, and instead of that, just pause and consider, how wonderful would it be if I went on a 14-day trip with my girlfriends and we were taking train rides, luxury train rides across Switzerland. And we then went from Switzerland to all the different places to Paris. And we went from Paris to Italy. And we were like, is it possible that you are making decisions immediately about financial opportunities, financial possibilities, finances, period, and it is causing you to have the same results? And so I just wanted to have this quick conversation with you all to just talk about the importance of, will you consider your opportunities to be financially fit, to be financially well? Will you consider it? Because many times we will accept it or we will decline it immediately. And that's the unfortunate thing. The unfortunate thing is that whichever one we do, we then start to manifest those thoughts immediately, right? So that's a technique that I'm using, implementing. Let me know if you're going to be doing that too. Come on, try it out and keep me posted on whether or not that is something that you're going to be doing. I look forward to chatting with you. If you have any conversations that you want to have, join us over at Wealthy Women Conversations on Facebook, y'all. Guess what? Our Facebook group, we're doing a whole lot of yummy and goodies over there. Come on over there and join us. We are teaching stuff. We are engaging with stuff. We are doing affirmations. We are doing it all. But it is always great that you are following us here. I appreciate each and every one of you. And the awesome thing is, up next is going to be another amazing woman who is going to be sharing her wealthy life experience and what she is doing to create the wealthy life that she desires. Come on, y'all. You too can be a part of it. I look forward to chatting with you all again soon. Have an amazing rest of your day. Bye, y'all. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Wealthy Women Conversation Podcast. We hope you found inspiration and wisdom as we sat at the table to grow and learn with our amazing guest who has paved the way for her own financial freedom. Remember, you hold the power to create your own version of wealth, success, and fulfillment. No matter where you are on your journey, it's never too late to take control of your financial future. Keep seeking knowledge, exploring opportunities, and embracing your unique strengths. Together, we're challenging the norms, shattering limitations, and redefining what it means to be a wealthy woman in today's world. Join us for future episodes as we share captivating stories, insightful advice, and practical strategies to support our wealthy journey together. If you enjoyed this podcast, please don't hesitate to return next week, where there will be another amazing, brilliant, and absolutely captivating guest to speak on what it takes to build your own path to wealth and success. Thank you for tuning in to the Wealthy Women Conversations podcast. Stay focused, determined, and strive for the wealthy life you desire. Until next time, I'll see you on the wealthy side.